quiet. Hello. Welcome. There's my first little heart. Who's that? Party hats. Let's go. It's Friday. Everybody, happy Friday. Yay. Hi. Oh, there you go. I was about to say hi, Laura, but that's you. That's Laura. That's today. Okay, who do we have in the house? We have okay, so we have Vancouver, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, we have Niagara Falls, PEI, East Coast of Canada's fully represented. What about the West Coast? Who do we have? St. Catharines, Mississauga, Burnaby. Okay, there's our West Coast. Anybody here from Alberta, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, someone's here from Port Moody. Hello, Charlene. Welcome, everybody. Actually, you know what I want to know is usually on our sessions we have a dedicated advisor that is on vacation or maybe on like a do-it-yourself fam and is in their hotel room or maybe lying on the beach on their phone. Actually, that maybe might be more Facebook, but they're actually watching from like while they're like away and they're not in Canada. So make sure you guys give us a shout out as well. So we have Thunder Bay in the house, cold Saskatchewan. Yes. No, Quebec. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Well, this is great. Thanks, everybody. That's like my favorite part is just seeing all of you guys here coming in. So thank you all for joining us. Yes, I get to host today. Susan, we call her Susie Q on the side. Susan I had some projects. We're getting ready for a few big things next week. So I'm stepping in and I'll try and do as good of a job as her. So I'm Kelly with Spoiled Agent, and we are here and we're going to be talking all about Royalton weddings today. And I have two lovely presenters. We have Laura is the manager with Wedding Services, and I'll let you do a little wave here.
Little
There you
spiel.
go.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to show you what Royalton Weddings has to offer and all of the exciting things that you can kind of try to get stuck on the back of your mind so that you know what to share with your couples moving forward and all of the fun things that we can do for them.
Yes. And of course, I could not forget Lori Davis. She is the sales supervisor for Royalton Weddings. Hello, Lori. How are you today?
Hi, Kelly. Thanks so much for having us. Laura and I are super excited to be here and share all of this great wedding info with all of your amazing agents.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. And actually, I know you guys, actually, I'm doing my housekeeping because I saw the presentation and I know it's on the second screen. So you guys are going to talk about that. So I'll just do housekeeping really quick. So you guys know the drill. We're recording this session. So if for some crazy reason your bride calls and you have to go and book that Royalton wedding like right now, and you have to leave, don't worry. We are recording this session, and it will be added to the bottom of the Royalton dedicated page and Spoiled Agent at the bottom. It's also in our Facebook group. It's live streaming right now, and after it's over, it'll still be there. You can go to our YouTube channel. There's so many places, so you can go back and watch it, no problem. Super easy. So that's that. Also, we want to answer all of your questions. I know Lori's going to be in the background throughout the presentation using her fingers. Have you warmed up your fingers yet, Lori, for all
Yes,
answering all of the questions?
you
So
bet.
you
I'm
guys
ready to go.
all right, good. So there's the Q&A box. So if you guys could please put your questions in the Q&A box, that's just really helpful because everything goes in there. As you guys can see, the chat box gets full, which we love, but we don't want to miss any of your questions. And maybe, I don't know, if you have your favorite Royalton property, maybe you're sure sell the one that you love, and or maybe tell us your last wedding group that you sent to a Royalton, which property it was. Please feel free to add that in the chat. We appreciate that. All right. And I think that's it for me. The girls are going to talk about something special just for you guys because your time is so valuable. We really appreciate you guys coming and supporting us today. And I'm going to turn off my camera and finally stop talking, and we're going to get this presentation started. So I'll hand it over to you ladies, and I'll see you at the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Kelly.
Fantastic. Okay, so I will get started. We're so excited to be here. So we're going to start with, obviously today we're going to go through everything Royalton Weddings, but we want to also have You guys know that we're also going to be giving away a 4-night stay for two at any of our Royalton properties outside of Paraiso, which is one of our ones in Mexico. But outside of that, we will draw one lucky winner next week to win this prize and be in touch with the certificate for that. So definitely stay tuned. This will just give you an idea. If you aren't familiar with the brand, we do obviously have properties kind of all over Mexico and the Caribbean. This is a good snapshot. We do have some new properties coming that we're going to talk about as well. So this isn't everything we offer, but it's pretty close. I'm going to start with kind of going over the different brands that fall within Royalton, just so that you're familiar with the different properties that we have. So Royalton, this is probably the one that you would know the best. It is definitely the flagship brand. It is the one where we obviously have the most number of resorts. This is going to be your family friendly, your tried and true, you know, the restaurants and amenities you're going to find at One Royalton are going to be the same across the board. So whether you're looking at a Royalton in Mexico or one in Jamaica, they're going to be very similar. You can expect the same level of service and amenities. Again, these are family-friendly resorts. So next we're going to look at Hideaway. So Royalton Hideaway is a resort within a resort. So this is the adults only section of the larger Royalton property. So this is always going to be attached to a Royalton. This is great for wedding groups because you can have groups that maybe want to stay, some want to stay adults only, some want to stay family friendly, and they can certainly split the group between both, and there's no issues with that. Most of the wedding locations where we do have a Hideaway are located on the family-friendly side of the property. Anything that's located on a Hideaway section will be noted because they do not allow for children with a few small exceptions. But this is going to give your guests usually additional pools, bars. There's usually at least one restaurant as well where they can access adults only amenities, but they can also access the larger Royalton property as well. The next brand we're going to go through is Royalton Chic. So this is also an adults only brand. However, it is a standalone property. So it does not allow for anybody under the age of 18, but it's going to be its own resort. So it's not attached to a Royalton. It is completely adults only. So this does mean that there would be no children able to attend a wedding at this property. It's definitely got a bit of a different vibe too. It's a little bit more of a party upbeat kind of vibe. We have one of these in Mexico, which is right in the hotel zone. There's one in Punta Cana. And then there's also one in Antigua now, but they're definitely more of like a fun bachelorette, bachelor party kind of resort. The next brand I'm going to talk about is Planet Hollywood. So this is going to be very similar to Royalton. It is family friendly. It's just going to be movie themed, basically. So the restaurants and the are going to be basically the same as what's at Royalton. They're just branded differently. It's the same thing with the wedding packages. The wedding packages at Planet Hollywood are the same as the ones at Royalton. They just have different branding and different names. So if you know one brand, you will know the other. Again, slight differences, decor and things like that, but very, very similar, very family friendly. Planet Hollywood does have an adults only section. It's only available at our Cancun property. It's called Adult Scene. And it's the same thing. It's attached. It's like the Hideaway. So it is attached to Planet Hollywood. You can access Adult Scene and Planet Hollywood if you stay there. And it's a great option. It is not available at Planet Hollywood, Costa Rica. And the last brand that I'm going to go over is the brand new one that falls under Royalton now. So Royalton Vessence is a brand new brand that we'll be opening 2 properties this year. This is going to be a bit of a different option for travelers. So this is an adult oriented property. It is not adults only. So there are going to be, it is geared towards adults, but does permit for children. However, there's not going to be children's amenities. There's not going to be splash pads or kids clubs or anything like that. Vestance is going to offer some different things that our other properties don't. Nighttime swimming. It's definitely a very artsy property. It's trying to be very cultural too for the properties in the countries they're located. So the first one is Barbados, which will be opening in the summer of this year. And then we also have one that's opening in Cancun scheduled for the fall.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lori. So that will give everybody a good understanding of our brands and what to expect on the hotel level. Now I'll just get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty on the wedding side and what our couples can expect should they decide to book their wedding with us. So I'll first give you a good understanding of what the process is like and what they can expect from the moment that they reach out to our sales team right up until the wedding day itself. So this visual on the right hand side is a nice kind of easy way to break that down for you. Excuse me. And it just shows them what's coming next, what to expect. A lot of the time, the scary parts about planning a wedding, especially a destination wedding, is not knowing what's coming next. And having this from the very beginning and having that broken down for your couples can relieve that bit of stress and get them excited about all the positive things and all the fun parts of planning their big day. So all of our couples, when they reach out to the sales department, get some form of this visual on the right hand side that breaks down the expectations of what the planning process will be like throughout their time with us. And we find that that is really helpful for our couples to have some really nice foundation of trust with us, and that we can take them along the way without any need to worry. So what will happen is that your clients will reach out, or yourselves will reach out to our sales department. At that stage, Lori's team will work with them to find a property that best suits their needs and their guests' needs, as well as individual timing for their events and locations within the property for each of the events that they're looking to host. That's all done with the sales department. And as soon as they put in their deposit, that's kind of locking in the date and time that they've decided to book with us. And then at that point, they're booked. From there, a lot of our couples, not all, but a lot of our couples like to book well in advance of the wedding, so more than 6 months out. If that is the case, those couples will go straight from the sales stage right to what we call our pre-planning team. And this is a team of consultants that have monitor a shared inbox where the couples will have full support with anything that they'll need before they reach the 6 month point, which is when we start the planning process with the couples individually. So that's some time frame for them to ask any questions that they might have come up after the sales stage and they didn't find the opportunity to ask, any doubts that they may have, or even making slight changes to their booking. Things like they've decided they no longer want the ceremony on the beach, they want it on the Sky Terrace. That pre-planning team can absolutely help them in making those minor changes just before we get into the nitty-gritty of actually planning their big day. I'll kind of move a little bit laterally here and touch on South Asian weddings. South Asian weddings do take a little bit longer to plan. They're a little bit more involved. There's more events that take place. So that timeline looks a little bit differently. Regardless of when they finalize their booking with our sales department, they will then directly go and be assigned to their offsite wedding consultant and start the nitty-gritty planning right then and there. They will not be moved to a pre-planning team because they could use that additional time to sort out all of the additional details and all of the additional inclusions that come along with planning a South Asian packaged wedding. After our pre-planning timeline, they then reach the 6 month time period, which is 6 months before the wedding date. At that point, they'll be introduced to their offsite wedding consultant. This is their main point of contact from that point moving forward. It's the person that will assist them in planning all the details of floral decor, their menus, everything that you could possibly think of when you think about planning a wedding. They're going to be that main contact for them up until about 2 weeks before the wedding. So they'll complete their invoice with their assigned wedding consultant. They'll make their final payment about 45 days before the wedding date. And then about 2 weeks before the wedding, they'll then get introduced to their on-site wedding consultant, which is the person that will be with them the day of the event, kind of their on-site coordinator as well as day of planner. who will have all the information that we worked on with them throughout that 6-month planning, and will then transition into bringing everything to life. So that's a little bit of the timeline here and what our couples can expect from the moment that they book with us up until the big day comes around. I will get into a little bit here about our packages and what each package entails and the similarities and differences between them. But I do like to kind of preface this in saying that all of these packages are customizable. The packages themselves are made to provide you with the basic needs of what the couple would like, depending on their budget, their guest count, and how many events they'd like to take place. But you can absolutely have a fabulous wedding day while just using what is provided in the package. However, we all know that a wedding day is much more than that, and we want to make it special and customized to exactly what the couples have always dreamed of or what they need. So these are all a starting point, but things can absolutely be added on top to make it a little bit more special. This planning process, especially with their offsite wedding consultant, is made to be a kind of partnership with the couple and the planner themselves to be able to bring to life all of the ideas that the couple might have in their head while still being operationally realistic in what we can provide. So we find that these packages are a great starting point for all of our couples, regardless of what they're looking for. If they want something really smaller and intimate, or if they'd prefer something a little bit more grand and multiple days and all the fun glittery things. I will start with the Just the Two of Us package. This is the Just the Two of Us. It's meant to be an elopement style package, so only for the bride and the groom. This provides them with a ceremony, a symbolic ceremony at that. All of our packages actually provide symbolic ceremony itself, so no legal paperwork will be required and the marriage will not be legalized in that country. However, we can absolutely change that to a legal ceremony for an upgraded cost. So that's something that a lot of our couples do decide to do, just depending on what their hopes are for legalizing, if they want to do it right then and there in front of their family and friends, or if they'd prefer to do that back home. We have those two options so that it's attainable for their needs. The Just the Two of Us package includes, like I mentioned, a ceremony, some tropical bouquet and boutonniere for the bride and the groom or the wedding couple itself, and then a very nice intimate dinner on the beach for them too. So this is for those couples that just want to be together. They don't want to make kind of too much of it. We all know why couples elope. So this is geared towards that type of couple and those needs. We'll then move on to the luxury package, or what we call the free package, PH free, at our Planet Hollywood properties. Like Lori mentioned, they're just named and marketed a little bit differently, but the inclusions themselves, the prices themselves are all the same. So with this package, you get 10 guests included within the package. Any guests above that would come at an additional cost per person. So you don't necessarily, having the luxury package doesn't necessarily mean that you're having a small intimate wedding of 10 people. You could absolutely add upgrades, add additional guests, and make this into a much fuller event and day of events. With this package, includes, again, a symbolic ceremony, can be upgraded to legal if they'd prefer. Same inclusions of a bouquet and a boutonniere for the wedding couple, as well as a sound system to play music down the aisle. They'll have a microphone so that they can say their vows in front of their loved ones. And then this one comes with a semi-private reception in the evening for them and their guests. So this is a 2-hour dinner reception at one of the restaurants in the hotel. This is semi-private, meaning they don't get the space to themselves. However, the group will be put in an area kind of off to the side so that they feel like they're, of course, not going to be put in the middle of a hustle and bustle restaurant. They will have a special area off to the side, but it is a shared space at the end of the day. So for a package like this, if they are keeping the semi-private reception, we just want to keep in mind that they would not be able to have things like a dance floor, DJ, additional decorations. It's just the dinner itself at that location that's already in place. Okay, so we'll move on to the refined wedding package. This package comes with a little bit more. So this one, apart from including, what we spoke about before in the groom's boutonniere, groom's boutonniere bride bouquet. This also comes with a bouquet and a boutonniere for the bridal party and groomsmen. So this is having, kind of more gearing towards the idea of couples that have a bridal party and would like to have something a little bit more full in the day and not just a ceremony and a dinner reception. So along with this, they also receive a cocktail hour, which makes it kind of the biggest difference between this and the luxury or pH-free package. This is a 1 hour cocktail event at one of our private locations. It includes 3 appetizers as well for all of the guests, as well as 1 full hour of standard open bar and a sound system. So with this package, 30 guests are included and they get all of these inclusions that I'm speaking about right now. But again, any guests above 30, they're more than welcome to, the more the merrier. They would just come at an additional cost per person to add them onto the package so that all of the guests can enjoy these wonderful inclusions of the refined package. That would be the cocktail hour for them. And then this one comes with a private dinner reception. This is a 3 hour dinner reception at one of our private locations. So in this case, you absolutely would be able to go all out. It's a private space, though, depending on the one that you select. You could, as you see in this picture, pick your own tables, your own chairs, decor. You can have your own DJ, dance floor, all of the nice extras that you expect to have when it's an area of your own and you're not sharing it with other hotel guests. So this is a 3 hour reception. It also comes with a lovely 2-tier wedding cake. That'll be obviously dressed on a cake table. So all of the typical, or what you would call to expect from a wedding day is what you can expect from the refined package itself. And then we move on to the exclusive, or again, PH Glam, if we're looking at our Planet Hollywood properties. The main difference between this one and the refined package is that it comes with an additional event. So our exclusive packages come with a pre-wedding event. This event is a 2 hour kind of barbecue style party. This can be used the day before the wedding or a couple of days before the wedding, or it can also be used after the wedding. So just depending on what your couples prefer and what their expectations are, we can customize it in that way to make it feel comfortable for them. This is a fantastic example of something that comes included with the package, but can be used very specifically in the way that they like it, and we can customize it in that way so that they feel like it is more conducive to what them and their guests are expecting. So that pre-wedding event, it's called pre-wedding, but it can also be post-wedding. We actually find that it's been very popular lately for couples to do this after the wedding, and it's a great time to kind of reconvene with all of their guests and reminisce on the wonderful wedding night that they had. So definitely something to remember there, that we can play around with the use of that additional event. Again, similar to the others, this comes with the 2 bouquets, the 2 boutonnieres, a sound system for the ceremony, and this comes with a couple of little extras, being the highest tier package. So they'll get some floral arrangements for the chairs, all of these little touches that end up making this package one of the higher tier, more special, inclusive packages. We then move on to the cocktail hour. It's again a 1 hour cocktail event, this time with 5 included canapes for the guests to enjoy. They also get a solo musician, so they have a choice of, I believe, if it's, I'm just remembering off the top of my head, something like a violinist, saxophonist, guitarist. So it can again be very geared towards the style that they like and the music that they prefer to have at that event. And again, a full hour of standard open bar and a sound system for them to enjoy that event. We then move on to the private reception. This is now a 4 hour private reception as compared to 3 for the refined package. And they also, again, speaking about the little extras that they get with this top tier package, they get a $300 reception floral credit, which means they can basically get $300 off any florals that they get, fresh florals, for their reception. So a lot of the times, if couples don't want florals at their event, and that's absolutely no problem at all, and they don't already have anything in mind to use that credit towards, we can absolutely work with them on just requesting a quote for a $300 on the dot floral arrangement for them to simply use it. Right? We don't want these perks and these benefits of getting discounts or cost off of floral arrangements to then mean that the couples have to spend more than they were expecting to spend. So these are some great points here so that you can relay this to your couples and let them know that these packages are made to be geared towards them. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to fit into a box. We do have wiggle room here in how we use the inclusions. We can't quite customize each package to exactly what they have in their mind, but we definitely can play around and move some puzzle pieces around to fit more in line with what their expectations are. With this package, they get 40 guests included. Any guests above 40, again, would come at that additional cost per person, which you've been seeing here on the left-hand side. I then want to quickly touch on our South Asian packages. So our South Asian wedding packages, we have a dedicated team of South Asian wedding specialists that are well versed in these cultural style packages, and they'll be able to go much more in depth with the couples and ensure that they're meeting both their standards for the wedding day and culturally what they expect from a South Asian wedding. Priya is our South Asian wedding manager, and she runs a lovely team that, again, I hate to say it again, but they're very, very well versed in the understanding of what these couples expect from these type of South Asian wedding packages. And then I love to always touch on our cultural add-on experiences. So at almost all of our properties, we have what we call our cultural experiences. In Jamaica, it would be the Jamaican experience. In Costa Rica, the Costa Rican experience, so on and so forth. And this is an add-on that you can add on to any package. We typically advise that it's added onto the luxury package because the luxury is kind of the more basic package that doesn't already include things like a cocktail hour or a private reception. It makes most sense to add this package on to the luxury as those things are included here. So it's a great, easy way to upgrade your package and add these additional things without having to go kind of a la carte one by one. These cultural packages I'll get through in a little bit of what to expect with them, but they're already pre-made, and you don't have to think about what else can I do to make my wedding in Mexico feel a little bit more Mexican. What food do I need to ask for in order to do that? These are already packaged in that way, and that's the idea, to add a little bit of a something extra to play on the cultural experience of the country that they're getting married in, because part of the fun of doing a destination wedding is being in another culture and really exploring that and enjoying that with your guests. So with all of these experiences, of course, the food will vary depending on what country we're in. The music will vary depending on the country itself. But it's basically a cocktail hour, a full 1 hour cocktail hour with traditional appetizers and cocktails, again, geared towards the country that they'll be getting married in. They'll have some type of band performance. In Mexico, for example, it'll be a mariachi, but in Jamaica, you'll have a three-piece steel band. So that gives you a good idea of what to expect with the performances. They'll also have a unique menu created outside of what our regular wedding menus are. They'll have a menu that's geared towards the country of their choice, as well as, of course, a 3-hour open bar for all of our events that all of our private events come with. Well, they require open bar for the full event time. So these packages are meant to have that kind of included for them. And then again, the cultural specific performances that I was mentioning here. Down here, you'll see the list of hotels that they're applicable to, but we basically have these in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, St. Lucia, and Mexico.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. So now I'm going to take over and go through start with some of the different countries, and we're going to highlight some of the most popular wedding locations that we offer. I was doing my best to answer some of your questions while Laura was talking, so I didn't get to all of them. We will get all of them answered, so don't worry. So starting with Mexico, obviously, this is where we have the majority of our properties. We do have a Hideaway, Royalton Riviera Cancun. There is a Chic, Royalton Splash, which is our newest property there. And then we have Planet Hollywood and Adult Scene. These are probably the properties that you're most familiar with. This is where we do the bulk of our weddings. So Royalton Riviera Cancun, this is a photo of our Royalton Sky Terrace. One thing to note for Royalton properties, Sky Terrace locations can certainly be used for ceremonies, but they are an additional $1,500 to add that on. The reason for that is that it really is one of the basically it is the only completely private location that we offer. We do also offer it for receptions. And there's no additional charge for receptions, but if you do have a couple that wants to have ceremony and reception in this same space, we do need 4 hours in between. This just allows staff time to basically tear down the ceremony and then reset the space for a reception. But it is definitely one of the most popular locations. You're going to see across the board, a lot of our Sky Terrace locations look very similar. They have that stone archway and kind of this like wood pergola look. So they're all very, very similar, but this is Royalton Riviera Cancun. The next Sky Terrace we're going to look at is the largest Sky Terrace that we have out of any of our properties, and it's located next door to Royalton Riviera Cancun at Royalton Splash Riviera Cancun. So this is one of the only, actually it is the only property we offer that allows couples to do ceremony, cocktail, and reception all in the same space. So it is a very large location, and it does allow for all three to be set up. You can see in this photo, the ceremony set up towards the front, the cocktail area is in the middle, and then the reception space is towards the back of the photo. So it really does allow for couples to not force their guests to, traipse all over the property in the heat. They can just basically head up there and stay there for the majority of the events. It obviously has a really beautiful view too, as you can see. Next location we're going to look at is, this is our Sunrise Terrace at Royalton Chic Cancun. So again, this property is located in the hotel zone. It's definitely more of a party property. So we typically don't do like really large weddings at this. It tends to be a bit smaller because it is adults only. This location is great. It does allow for ceremonies, cocktails, and receptions all in the same space. For groups of about 30 to 40, we can accommodate that. Obviously, it has a really beautiful view, but it is in close proximity to the main pool here. So you can kind of see it behind in the photo there. So typically reception or ceremonies here start at 5, just to ensure that the couple isn't fighting over the noise of the pool party that's happening behind them. But this is definitely the most popular location at this resort. Next, we're going to look at Planet Hollywood Cancun. So one of the best things I can note for you guys about Planet Hollywood is we do offer, they're called rooftops here as opposed to Sky Terraces at Royalton, but there's no additional charge to use these locations for ceremonies. So it's a big bonus of the 2 Planet Hollywood properties that we have. So this is a rooftop 24. It is the 6th floor, I believe, of this building. It is the higher of the 2 rooftops that we offer. So it has a bit more of a expansive view, I guess, because of where it's located. And it is covered, which is kind of nice so that your guests aren't roasting in the sun during your ceremony. Next, we're going to move on to Dominican. So we do have a slide to try to help explain how all these properties fit together. So we're going to start with Royalton Punta Cana, Royalton Splash Punta Cana, and Royalton Hideaway. So all 3 of these properties are on this map. If towards the left, the location that is not beachfront is Royalton Splash. This one is definitely the most family friendly. It's where the big water park is located. If you stay there, you do not have full access to Royalton Punta Cana, which is the beachfront property to the right. You can access the beach and you can access Grazie for lunch, but you do not have full access to the rest of the property. Whereas if you stay at Royalton Punta Cana, which is the beachfront location, you do have access to Splash. So you can stay at Royalton Punta Cana, use those amenities, and also head over to Splash and use those amenities as well. Now, when you book a wedding at this property, all of the wedding locations are basically located at Royalton Punta Cana. There's one location that's kind of in between the 2. And I'm going to show you that. I think that might be the next slide. Oh, no, it's not. I lied. The one in between is the Eco Garden. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Laura. I knew it was in here somewhere. This is our Eco Garden gazebo. So it's actually located in between the 2 properties. And it is also completely private. You kind of have to enter it through like a giant doorway kind of. It's neat. It's also very lush and green. So it's very popular for couples who are looking for a destination wedding but don't want sand. This is a great option for them. And I did quickly skip over the beach gazebo at Royalton Punta Cana, but this is also a very popular location as well. The only thing I caution with this location specifically is if you have a couple that want something very private, I would not recommend this. As you can kind of see from the photo on the right and left, there are going to be people on the beach relatively close to this. Now, obviously, there's a section that is roped off just for the ceremony, but there will be beachgoers and other hotel guests that will be able to see the couple get married. So if you have somebody that really doesn't want that, this is not the location for them. This is definitely better. Eco Garden's better. Okay, so now this is Royalton Bavaro. This is a totally separate resort. It's not connected to the other three at all. There are no reciprocal privileges between the properties. This is our Diamond Club Beach Gazebo at Royalton Bavaro. It does allow, obviously, for a very beach setting of a wedding, but where your guests and yourselves are not in the sand. So this is also quite popular for that reason. If you want to wear your heels or you want your guests to be able to wear their fancy shoes, this is a nice option because they're not sitting directly in the sand.
Fantastic. I will move on and talk a little bit about our Jamaica properties. So I want to preface by saying I'm sure you're well aware that Jamaica was hit pretty hard with Hurricane Melissa a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, our two properties in Jamaica did get hit fairly hard. I would be lying if I said that it was very minimal damage. I hate to use the word destroyed, but it pretty much was to that level. So the hotels, and I'll get through both of them here, which are Royalton Negril and Royalton Blue Waters, both had an extended period of closure due to this damage, and in their working on renovations and getting it back up to speed and back up to both a safe standard as well as the Royalton standard that we expect and that we sell to our couples and our hotel guests. So for Royalton Blue Waters, it's currently closed, but it will reopen on September 15th. We are absolutely, of this year, 2026, we're absolutely looking forward to opening, and the team is working very hard to ensure that they can welcome back guests as soon as possible starting the 15th. So we definitely are taking reservations already and bookings for anything past the 15th of September 2026 for Royalton Blue Waters. Jamaica has been hit a couple of times with some hurricanes over the last couple of years, and they have had to have maintenance and sometimes fully rebuild different locations. This is a great example of that. The beach gazebo, which is one of our most sought after locations here, because you get, again, that absolutely lovely beach view and beach feel while still having a walkway where the bride and the groom and the bridal party don't have to worry about being stuck in the sand, and they get a little bit of shade cover here at the top. I mention this because this specific gazebo, though we don't have a picture right now of what it's going to look like, I'm fairly confident that it will look exactly like it does in this picture, because the couple of times that they have had to rebuild it and put maintenance on it, it has looked pristine and the exact same as before. You would never know that there's any maintenance been done to it. So this is a picture, of course, pre the hurricane, but we expect it to look just as lovely post hurricane. This is another location. So this is our Royalton Negril property. Royalton Negril, again, is closed right now for renovations and maintenance of all the damage that was done by the hurricane, but it will reopen on August 25th of this year. And again, the team is working really hard, and we're already accepting bookings for anything past August 25th for Royalton Negril. This is a lovely location. The Ocean Point gazebo, very sought after because you get a lovely view here of the water while not necessarily being on the sand and right in the beach, which some couples don't. It's not their vision. So here we have an arch. This gazebo is cemented in place. It's part of the location, and it really adds a beautiful touch. Couples can do more with it and add florals and all of these things, but itself is just a very beautiful, picturesque location, which our couples love. Then I'll move on to St. Lucia. Our St. Lucia location, we want to highlight our sky terrace here. Like Lori mentioned, all of our sky terraces and rooftops have a very similar look, where we have the wooden, pergola and the stone arch to give that same feel. It has a beautiful view here in St. Lucia, the sky terrace, of the property itself, of some of the water, the mountain range. So you really get the views that everybody would be looking after. And then one of Lori and I's personal favorite property locations here, the Diamond Club deck in St. Lucia. This has the best of both worlds because this is a deck that is on the beach. If you see very, very slightly to the right-hand side there, you'll see a little bit of sand. Right down there is full beach, so you get the sand, the sea, and the view without having to be in the sand itself. So this is a lovely location for those couples that have that vision, but have the comfort of their guests at the forefront. This arch that you see here in the picture is not included in the location. It would just be the deck with that lovely kind of backdrop, but we can, of course, as you see in the image, add any type of arch and draping to step it up and gear towards what they're looking for. Then we have Antigua. So we have two properties in Antigua right now. We'll highlight Royalton Antigua right now with their Sky Terrace. So again, the stone arch. This one is a little bit different from our other Sky Terrace properties because you'll see that it has the addition of a kind of a green terrace here on the left-hand side. So that provides couples with a really lovely transition from ceremony into cocktail hour if they wish, while still again having those lovely, lovely views of the sky terrace. Of the backdrop through the sky terrace. And then we have Chic Antigua. So this is our, like Lori mentioned, our adults only property. Their beaches are absolutely lovely. The beaches in Antigua are like no other. So you get the full kind of crystal blue on these beaches. Very, very lovely for any type of ceremony, cocktail, or reception. And then something really nice that we like to highlight about this property are those overwater bungalows. They have, I don't quite remember the name of it. I don't know if you do, Lori, but they have a restaurant there in one of those bungalows, and it's just a really lovely view and stay for the couples that want just a very picturesque beach. We'll move on to Grenada. Again, you just cannot compare the lush greenery here. This beach is absolutely perfect for ceremony, reception, or cocktail, and they get the benefits of the sand and the sea while also being a little bit more lush and having some more trees surrounding. You'd be surprised how much the surrounding space itself at our beaches does enough for decoration. You really don't need to add too much. You'll see here the only real additional decor that this couple has added is 3 centerpieces and some candles. Everything else is just the location itself. So it's a really great reminder here that selecting the location that works for you goes a long way with budget for floral and decor and overall vision without having to do too much. Then we'll move on to Costa Rica, which Lori will tell us about.
Yeah. Okay. So Costa Rica, this is our other Planet Hollywood property. There's a couple of things to note about this property specifically. So obviously it is definitely a black sand beach, which is really unique. And it is a little bit more dense than like the white fluffy sand you would expect to find there. So, or you would expect to find maybe in the Caribbean. So this is definitely one thing to keep in mind if you have couples looking for a beach ceremony or reception. Another thing about this property is that it's built basically into this enormous hill. So your sales rep will assist you in selecting locations that will work best for the size of the group. We definitely recommend locations that are either all at the top of the hill or all at the bottom. We don't like to try to move that many guests from one location to the other because it's just not time effective. And the hill is very steep. So walking it in running shoes may be doable, but if you have guests in fancy shoes or high heels, probably not realistic. We do run golf carts. However, there's only a few of them that run basically to move hotel guests. To try and move a large group of people all at once just doesn't work very well. So I will quickly talk about these ceremony locations here. So again, the top right photo is going to be our rooftop location. So that space, again, there's no additional charge for a ceremony. It has a gorgeous view and it is really big. So we do tons of receptions here. It's usually the most popular reception location as well. If you have a group of 50 or less, the recommendation usually is to use the location that's on the left there, which is our 3rd floor terrace for the ceremony. That location is literally 1 floor above the sky terrace. The rooftop. I'm getting my brands mixed up. It's one floor above the rooftop. So basically, this will allow for couples to have their ceremony. They literally just walk either one floor on an elevator or walk down one flight of stairs, and right below is the rooftop, and they can have cocktails and reception there. It's a really great flow of events, really beautiful view. And then on the right here, you can see that black sand beach, obviously gorgeous view as well. There's also monkeys that swing through the trees here on the beach, which is really neat. A little bit distracting during a ceremony, but they definitely are very, very people friendly. And then in terms of reception locations, obviously the left photo and the bottom right are both on the rooftop. And then that top right image is going to be a beach reception. And you can see how beautiful it is. And there's tons of greenery and trees at this property as well. So somebody already asked in the chat or in the chat about commission. So just so everybody knows, we do offer 10% on the package price the couple pays for. So if the wedding package is received complimentary, there would obviously be no commission. But if they pay for the package, we will certainly provide that commission to you. You do need to reach out to us after the wedding occurs within 60 days. And you can just send an email to that wedding planner at royaltonresorts.com, and we will get you everything you need so that we can get you paid for that commission. Current promotion. So this is valid for one more week, 8 days, whatever we have left in February here. So if you do have anybody that's looking to book a wedding with us, this is a huge savings, especially because I don't know if Laura and I mentioned, but we're actually also located in Canada. I know we're speaking to Canadian agents as well, which is wonderful. But we're located in the GTA. So obviously with our Canadian dollar, this savings is wonderful because all of the package prices are in USD. So, 26% off of the wedding package price is a wonderful savings. So we really just need to receive that booking form before the end of this month, and your couples can definitely take advantage of that. It's valid for 2026 and 2027 weddings that book the Refined or Peach Love or the Exclusive or the Peach Glam packages. It is also valid for our South Asian wedding packages, which we typically don't offer promotions. So that's another massive savings because those packages are obviously have a large number of hours of events and are quite a bit more expensive. So it's a great savings for those as well. And then these are going to be BDMs. So for our Canadian agents, if you've dealt with Royalton, you've probably spoken to Dominica. She's been around for a long time. She's really lovely. We also have Chanel and Todd. So if you needed to get in touch with any of them, their phone numbers and email addresses are there. And then the next slide is just going to go over our team, obviously. So you've met, and again, just to make things really confusing, there's 2 Lauras and a Laurie. And so you've met Laura and myself. Also, if you've probably dealt with Royalton in the past, you've probably spoken to Laura Erickson. She's been with the company for forever. This is us. We're always happy to help. So if you need to reach out to us for anything, you certainly can. We also have that main sales inbox that we're also happy to help with whatever you need.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you. That was so great. So again, I was when we were logging and getting set up, I said, you guys are like the dream team. You guys work really well together, and you've put together such an amazing presentation. And it takes a lot of hard work, and it's so detailed and just really just to follow. So we appreciate you and your time in hosting this session today. Good. And I know you guys have been busy answering questions in the chat and in the Q&A. But if you guys don't mind, I'm going to ask there's a couple of questions, and actually there's a couple of questions in the Facebook. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back. And if there are any of the advisors in Zoom, if you guys typed any questions in the chat box and it has not been answered, would you guys do me a huge favor and copy it and then paste it in the Q&A? That way we're going to make sure that we answer all of your questions. Okay. And if not, I do send the report to the ladies afterwards. questions, and we'll eyeball it again. So if we miss it today, we'll definitely get back to you the next couple of days. Okay, so actually, this isn't a question. I just we have a Rashmi is on Facebook, and she just wrote that she booked a wedding for 150 guests at the Royalton Riviera Cancun in Hideaway for August. Wow, that's a nice booking. That's awesome. Congratulations. Um, that's a lot of work, but she has you guys to help her every single step of the way, which is amazing, right? Makes things a little easier. There's another question here. Sorry, it was just down a bit. Let me find it. Oh, how many weddings in a day do you do?
So I can take that. It depends. That's the answer. It's going to depend on the resort. Some of them do up to 4. Some of them only do 1. So typically, the larger the property, the more weddings per day. But we are very strategic with how those are booked, so that you're not bumping into other wedding couples, and there's lots of time for turnaround. So any of them that do multiples, I would assure your couples that it's not a concern. It's pretty common that we do lots per day.
Great. Okay, that's perfect. And then the next one is from Rashmi again. I'm just saying, can you please confirm? Sorry, she was kicked out of the internet. The internet. Technology. And she missed. When are the dates that we can expect to book Jamaica again?
Yeah, so I can take that. So the properties, though they're not open yet, we are already taking bookings as long as they're, of course, after the reopening date. So I'll say those again. For Royalton Negril, it's August 25th of 2026, which we're reopening. So at any time now, you're welcome to inquire with us, send in a booking form, and book for dates past that. And then for Royalton Blue Waters, the reopening dates are September 15th, 2026. So we're happy to take them now, and you're more than welcome to inquire and start that conversation early.
Nice. Yes, the earlier the better, right? Less stress, no
Yes,
rush,
yes.
right? Good. Okay. Um, and then of course, I know this comes up a lot, but Live for Today Travel is asking about a rewards program. I know you guys have great agent rates, so if you haven't experienced, or maybe you're going to sell, there's a property that you want to experience, you guys do have some amazing agent rates, and that's of course I'll post it on this Bold Agent dedicated page. But you're not offering an incentive, but you do offer amazing commission for your weddings.
That's right.
Okay, perfect, excellent. Okay, so I think that's Facebook. If you guys would like to, do you guys want to take over the Q&A box, or would you like me to do that?
Sure, yeah, that's no problem. I can read them out, and then Lori and I will answer whichever one we can answer best. The first one is, are the Vessens properties brand new builds? Yes, I do believe so. Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are brand new builds from scratch.
As far as I know, Barbados,
Yes.
yes. Cancun, I believe is as well, but because I can only see renderings. I was trying to look through my
Same.
emails while you
Yeah.
were talking, so I believe yes. I agree.
Yeah, perfect. And we have another question here, not for weddings, but for a family with 2 adults, 16 and 14 years old. Can packages be booked for the Royalton Vessens Barbados now? So I believe our sales team is taking for sure inquiries. Oh, sorry, this says not for weddings, but for a family with 2 adults. Lori, do you know if the hotel itself is already taking bookings?
Yeah, as far as I know, it is like through our website, I believe. And I did circle back through the most recent communication we've had. Initially, it looks like it was released as a 16 plus property, but recently we were told that it will accept children. There will just not be children rates. So the kids will pay the same rates as an adult.
Fantastic.
But yes,
The
I think we're
next
taking
question.
bookings now.
Yeah. The next question I have here for Planet Hollywood Costa Rica, is there any way to know if the Star Class Junior, oh, it's just moving here. For the Star Class Junior Suite have more rooms with 2 queens over 1 king and a sofa bed?
Uh,
I would be unable to say. I have to be quite honest.
so
Lori, do
that
you
I could
know?
find out.
Okay.
but it's anonymous, so I don't know how I would get I need some
Mm.
time to find the answer, so I don't know how I would get Kelly, is there a way I can get the answer to the anonymous asker of the question?
Maybe not the agent advisor with that question. If you would just send me a little email, I'll make sure that it's passed on to Lori and Laura. So if you could just email me at kelly@spoiledagent.com. I'll put my note in here. Just send me a little email with your question and we'll get back to you on that. Okay. That's great. Set. All right. I just put my note in there. Okay.
Fantastic. The next question. If I have a client who's already put down a deposit for their wedding date before this promotion started, can they cancel their wedding and rebook with the promotional rate?
Yes. So, but a caveat to that is they're going to forfeit their deposit. So they will forfeit their deposit and then they can rebook with a new deposit to qualify for the promotion. So in some cases, this does work out for couples, but that's the only way that we're able to do that. But yes, it is possible.
Fabulous. Next, we have a question. Has there been any updates regarding recent food-related illnesses at Royalton / Riviera Cancun? Bride and groom have been seeing lots of recent articles and comments in Facebook groups and are a little bit worried. So we have been kind of made aware that this is a concern of some couples and it's been making its way through social media. We kind of go straight to the source. I did speak to our wedding manager in destination at Royalton / Riviera Cancun very recently to ask about this, and they've reported, I would be unable to tell you the number, but it's something like 0.8% of illnesses being related to foodborne situations, and that their health standards are consistent and top tier to ensure that those cases are well looked into and well taken after, to ensure that it's not food related or anything that they have any control over. So they're seeing a little bit more sickness right now. And again, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but they're seeing it more related to, heat related issues, overconsumption of alcohol, spicy foods that sometimes people are not accustomed to. And the mix of all those things sometimes can get quite ugly in the human body. So to answer your question, we understand the concern and we see that it's making its rounds on social media, but the team has let us know that as of recent, the numbers for foodborne illness are at safe levels. Next, I have not a question, but only thank you. This was very interesting. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear that this was interesting. Lori and I try to highlight all the important parts that we could, of course, go on for hours and hours, but we want it to be the most important parts that are best for you and your couples of what you really need to know. But again, like Lori said, if you have any questions, you can absolutely reach out, and we're more than happy to answer that from our sales team. Last question that I see here, would Royalton Blue Waters have renovated rooms too, or are they only fixing the issues from the hurricane? To be quite honest, it's going to be everything because the hurricane damaged everything. So this is not just a maintenance to fix up what was broken. This was kind of putting the hotel ground up again. So I'd be unable to tell you exactly what areas they're touching, but based on what areas were damaged, it's pretty much all of it. Yeah. And again, the main focus is to build it back up to ensure that it's safe for our guests and also visually what it was before. These are not renovations to modernize it or spruce it up in any way. Of course, those things naturally come with any renovations, which is a nice perk. But the goal here was to fix all of the extensive damage throughout the hotel. And that looks like
That's
all of
great.
the
Yeah, that's all
questions
the
that we have.
questions. Yeah, Q&A. Thank you so much, ladies. And again, we might have missed a couple of things in the chat box. Again, it's very busy. So I'll make sure you guys get a copy of that and then we can review it. If we missed anything, we'll reach out to you guys directly. And as for the prize, and I think someone just raised their hand. Unfortunately, we can't unmute you because this is set up as a webinar. But if you would like, you can put a comment in the Q&A box. Present your question in the Q&A box and we can go from there. Okay. And at the beginning, actually, I took the email, like the best possible email, the best starting point, right? If you have questions,
Correct.
comments, anything like that. I'm just going to pop it in at the very end here. And I also put it in Facebook. Thank you, Facebook advisors, for tuning in as well. Thank you, Julia. And I'll put it in Facebook too. I got to be fair. right? That's a great starting point. And so if you guys would like to save this email wedding planner at royaltonresorts.com, and then they can kind of, get you to the right person and get everything started. And I think we talked about that lovely prize, generous prize that you guys are giving away. And we talked to we're going to be announcing the winner next week. And then what we'll do is we'll contact the winner once we've connected with the winner and they're like, they're so happy and everything. We'll definitely send up a follow-up email to you all. And I'm sure with all sorts of Laura and Lori, we'll send that email out to you guys directly. And yeah, with all sorts of great information. Lovely. Wonderful. All right. So I say happy Friday, everyone. Stay warm out there. It's got to warm up at some point. And Laura and Lori, thank you to you both. We really appreciate your time. And if you ladies would like to do the final farewell, we'll call it a day.
Sure, I'll go ahead. Of course, I speak on behalf of Lori and myself. Thank you so much for having us, for taking the time. I know you guys have busy, busy days and lots of bookings and questions, so I'm glad that you had some time to stay with us here today, and Kelly for the opportunity to be able to present our information here. Hopefully it was helpful to everybody, and we look forward to the next time that we get to present more info and chat a little bit further.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.